And just like that, we're here. It's Friday the 13th. I don't know if you're superstitious or not. I'm just, wrap myself in bubble wrap and will hide under the duvet until Friday the 13th is finished. Okay so far. Okay. You know him. We've got a packed show. I'm Russ Kane. This is the Midday Show. Thank you so much for joining us and coming along. You know him. You love me. I know he's got a shed load of stuff to get through. Our very own brave, fearless theatre critic, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Media himself, Jonathan Baz.
Good afternoon, and how lovely to see you again. It's been a while.
It has been a while, isn't it? It has been.
It's good to be riding pillion or pinion with you, sir.
It's
Always
good to be
a
anywhere
joy.
at my age, frankly. Good to be anywhere. Now I know because you sent me a message, but you got tons to get through.
Fair amount to talk about.
I am agog.
Well, as ever, agog. Yeah. In that case, I will be Magog to your Gog.
I don't know. I never know what that is. That's
no, it's something biblical.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, who knows?
But anyway, so I've got a few shows to talk about.
Yeah.
Some are fantastic.
Ooh.
Some less so. Now, in the olden days on this show, in the olden days, I'd always start with the less winning and finish on a high. Actually, I'm going to upend that.
Okay.
And I'm going to start by talking about the good stuff. Okay. Some of which was really fantastic.
Ooh.
And first up, a show called Marie and Rosetta, which is currently playing at the Soho Place Theatre by Tottenham Court Road Station. And this is a show that was born in Chichester, came through Kingston's Rose Theatre, co-production of those two houses, and now finds itself in the West End really only until the middle of April.
Okay.
And it is all about, does the name Sister Rosetta Tharpe mean anything to you, Russ?
Less than zero.
Fine. Well, that actually, and to be fair, not to me either, but that is a reflection of our ignorance. She was affectionately known as the godmother of rock and roll, a gifted guitar player, came from some gospelly roots, who went on to influence the likes of Chuck Berry, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis. Ridiculous.
Keith Richards has mentioned her as well, actually, now I think about it.
Ridiculously talented singer, guitarist, born to two parents who were cotton pickers in Arkansas. So she came really, she climbed her way up through a very, very tough journey through America, through the early middle parts of the 20th century. And Marie and Rosetta is this show that reflects the 3-year union that went on between Rosetta Tharpe and Marie Knight. It is a play with songs. It stars Beverly Knight as Rosetta Tharpe, and she is magnificent.
Yeah.
And opposite her, it's just a two-hander. And please excuse me if I mispronounce this, but opposite Beverly Knight is Nchinombizodwa Ndlovu.
Well, that's easy for you to say.
Quite. So please forgive any mispronunciations that I've just committed. But the two, and she is, I'm not going to try and pronounce her name again because it's too much of an embarrassment because I probably am getting it wrong. She's far newer on the scene of performing. Beverly Knight, of course, has a significant career behind her.
Absolutely.
Both of the women act and sing magnificently. The songs are all little gems from the era. So no songs or music have been written for the show.
Okay.
It is a play. It is set in the most bonkers context. It's set in a chapel of rest because we learn very early on that these two women are on the road. No hotel or motel will offer them accommodation because they're black. And the only place that they've been able to lay their heads down for the night is the chapel of rest next door to various coffins. There's a massive crucifix that hangs on the wall, and every time Beverly Knight, as Rosetta Tharpe says, you know, "Damn it, sister," she then turns to the cross and apologizes. It's quite funny, but the dialogue that these women go through in the, as I said, it's about a 2-hour show, and the dialogue is just exquisite. It's so cleverly written by a chap called George Brandt, who, in the course of the interplay between the two women, we get taken through America's segregation and racism. We get taken through the music industry. We get taken through the abusive relationships that both these women have suffered, with aspects of domestic violence. Some of it is quite troubling to listen to, but the dialogue doesn't focus on the negative. It just includes the negative, and it celebrates the positive as well. And then every now and then we launch into some fantastic songs. There's a 5-piece band that back them up. To be fair, I hadn't heard of most of the songs before the show. There's one particular double act, a show called 4 or 5 Times, sung as a duet, not a double act. A duet 4 or 5 times is the song. But I have to say, I went going to the theatre saying, okay, let's find out what this is all about. I've heard good things about it on the grapevine, etc. It's made its journey, Chichester, Kingston, London. And boy, I don't know how it started, but what is clear about this show is there is a fabulous chemistry between the two women.
Oh, well, you can't create that unless it's there.
You can't. I mean, tragically, it is only on until the 11th of April at Soho Place. I hope it has a longer life in a London house. It deserves it. But really, I cannot recommend this show highly enough.
Well, that is huge praise coming from you, because you tell it like it is, and you rarely say that.
Classy drama, classy songs, classy dialogue, classy acting. Some of the singing is a cappella. These ladies hit their notes without the backing instrument behind them or whatever it may be. And they are exquisite. So
is the writer English or American?
I believe, good question. I can't answer that. I don't know. I'm going to guess American. It really is. There's such wisdom in his writing. It's so rich. It's so descriptive. You know, towards the end, I shed a tear. I'll confess.
You?
I'm afraid so. I'm getting soft in my old age. Directed by a lady called Monique Touko. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Either way, forget putting my pronunciation issues to one side. The theatrical class that is on display in this show is just fantastic. So really go. Marie and Rosetta until the 11th of April. Very, very good.
And just to be clear, this theatre is by Tottenham Court Road Tube Station, isn't it?
Correct.
It's part of that new. Am I going mad? Is it part of that new complex?
It is a new build. It's over the road from that bonkers place with the massive video screen inside.
Yeah, over the road from. Oh, it's the other side.
Over the road from the video screen.
Okay.
That room.
Now I know where it is.
Yeah, fine. It's literally over the road. So that massive video screen is on the east side of the Charing Cross Road, and Soho Place is basically on the west side of Charing Cross Road.
That makes sense.
So that is Marie and Rosetta. And let me now turn to another little gem that I stumbled across this week, again with very, very neutral expectations, and I was enchanted by Yentl. Now, this is drawn from the same story that Barbra Streisand famously created her movie from, however many years ago it was, but it has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. There are no songs.
No Barbra Streisand?
There's no Barbra Streisand. It's about a young girl born into Orthodox Jewish shtetl somewhere in the Pale Settlement.
Explain what a shtetl is, please.
Shtetl is the eastern, the village. Think of Fiddler on the Roof. Think of an impoverished village where typically, or occupied by Jewish people, hence the name shtetl. It is a small village, typically rural, very poor. with typically the usual, shops that one would expect: the butchers, the dairy, the yeshiva, where the men and the boys would study, and the synagogue. And Yentl is a girl who wishes to study in the yeshiva. And that is the theme that's true from the movie. And she basically disguises herself as a boy, and and I think moves from one shtetl to another, so that she's a newly arrived in town and no one recognizes her, etc.
Okay.
And she, settles into the yeshiva, and of course, the complexities of life and her massive deceit get more and more entangled as the story goes by. She has feelings towards another boy in the yeshiva. A very lovely friendship evolves between her and a chap called Avigdor. That's his character's name. He in turn is in love with another woman in the village, who in turn is in love with Yentl, who by this time has changed her name to Anshel as a male name. It all gets a bit complicated. The ménage à trois angle does get a little bit complicated, but it makes perfect sense. And this classic little tale, it was a short story written many years ago by Isaac Bashevis Singer, from which again Streisand drew her inspiration from the movie. This tale is told in a very gorgeous way, and what makes this production even more interesting is it's been brought to London by an Australian theatre company called the Kadima Theatre Company, and it is in part a Yiddish production, and the dialogue switches seamlessly from English to Yiddish. And when it's in Yiddish, there are surtitles that are immaculately projected onto a wall as part of the scenery. And you really think, well, okay, that's likely to be a distraction. Actually, It isn't. It works very, very well. I found myself really enchanted and taken by the story. And the lead character as Yentl is a woman called Amy Hack. And alongside her in in really the fellow leading role is a character called, excuse me while I just refer to my notes, the Figure, which is a female character, ghostly white, who alternates in and out of Yiddish and English, and who acts as part as a satirical commentary on what's going on in the story, part as Yentl's conscience. She really is a little bit of a chucham, a wise, jokey, commenting person on what's going on stage. She adopts the roles of various minor characters as well. But in this portrayal and the woman who plays the Figure is a woman called Evelyn Crape, who is the artistic director of the Kadima Company. And her performance encapsulates the very essence of Yiddish theatre, which in itself was quite a massive art form from shtetl, from Eastern Europe into East London in the early part of the 20th century, and of course in the United States as well, on the Lower East Side in particular. And when you look at her performance, recognize that in the way that she has been scripted and the way that she is acting, you're getting a tiny glimpse of the sort of comic forces that influence the likes of Mel Brooks, Larry David, etc. It is self-deprecating, it's needling, it's sticking a little needle under the skin, rubbing it in if you're in trouble. She's merciless in how she exploits human failings, laughs at herself, laughs at the community. It really is, as I say, it's a tiny taste of the essence of what Yiddish theatre was all about.
So you can trace that genealogy right the way through to Jerry Seinfeld, really.
Absolutely.
Carl Reiner and all what they called the Borscht Belt comics.
Indeed. That I could have had a list of names. I just chose Mel Brooks and Larry David. Otherwise, my review would just been
forever
a directory.
Be forever. Buddy Hackett. You can keep going there. Rodney Dangerfield.
This is a show that takes a very orthodox community and set of traditions, and upends it into the most unorthodox of narratives. There are moments in the show. This is a show for people who want to explore and understand an aspect of Jewish literary history. There are moments in the show of entirely appropriate full frontal nudity. And for that reason, it may not be a show for everyone. Well, there are times, for example, when Yentl is chatting with Avigdor, her friend, her friend, okay. Avigdor thinks he's sitting by the riverside with another young man. So he's gone for a swim and a sunbathe, and he stands up. He's stark naked. She, of course, and this is the dramatic power of the moment, she, of course, is shocked because she's really a girl. She's never seen a naked man before, but he thinks she's a boy. So that actual moment, I would say, is entirely justified, and not the use of nudity for any sensational purposes, because it's quite visceral to see a nude person on stage. It is a
I
moment
find it extremely disconcerting, to be honest with you.
Fair. Well, so did Russ, so did Yentl, and there you have it.
No, I get it. I get the contextualization.
There you get it. It worked.
Course.
It's only on for 10. It's only on. He's only naked for 10 seconds or so as he wanders off to get a towel. But the point is, you're shocked because you go, oh, blimey, he's got nothing on. And so is she, because she's never seen a naked man before. And the dramatic power of that moment really worked very, very well. So, and I mention this not for a sensationalist angle to what I'm talking about, but more to warn people, because people might say, oh, Yentl, lovely. Yeah, I want to go and see it. Understand that it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride as to what you'll be letting yourself in for through when you go and see that show. It's not going to be sitting, with a ladies' gallery and a men's gallery. It's a men's area. It's radical theatre.
But it's a show for everyone, right? I mean, apart from it
is a show for everyone. It's a show for people who are prepared to immerse themselves in another culture, for sure, because you need to recognize that there's a lot of Yiddish going on here, albeit thoroughly explained above the stage. I'm not sure that it's a show for everyone. I'm not sure it's clearly not a family show, because you wouldn't want to take your kids who are younger than 14 or 15 to it, I would venture to suggest. And you need to have a broad mind to understand the landscape over which the creatives have put this show together. But I found it to be fabulous. As I say, I went with very neutral expectations, and I greatly enjoyed what I saw.
Do you think that people are going to go, oh, I love that film with Al Babs, so I'll go and see a stage show?
Possibly. I bet they will. I bet they will. It's not impossible. To be fair, full disclosure, I've never seen the movie.
Neither have I.
So
I can't bear Barbara. I know I'm the only person on the planet I can't bear Barbara Streisand. I don't like. No, not a fan.
But as I said at the beginning of this half-hour slot, I said let's have the good stuff first. Now let's come on to the stuff.
Put on your Wellingtons, everybody. Put your sou'westers on. Here we go.
Yes, here we go. Arthur Miller's Broken Glass. Now, Arthur Miller is, for the most part, a bloody genius. Some of what he's written, The Crucible, Death of a Salesman, The Price, which is in fact coming to the Marylebone Theatre very soon with Henry Goodman, The Price, All My Sons, they are stunning, riveting theatre. Broken Glass is one of his later plays. I think it's his penultimate not his last play that he wrote, but the penultimate play that he wrote. It's set in Brooklyn in 1938, which was, of course, the year of the Night of Broken Glass in Germany. Kristallnacht. So that is where the title is drawn from. We have a Jewish couple, the Gelbergs, who are, in my opinion, very badly miscast, because the narrative requires to have them a son of 20 years old who's making his way through the American military. These two actors barely look out of their 30s. So the casting lacks credibility. The direction by Jordan Fine is politically biased to the extent that it's almost spoon feeding you to think that anything that sits slightly to the right of the political spectrum is vile. The narrative, and really Miller has taken a really unusual concept. This woman, Sylvia Gelberg, has lost the use of her legs through the shock of what she's going through reading about what's happening to Jews in Germany in 1938. Frankly, I didn't see there to be any reason in Miller's creation of this, call it psychosomatic, I don't know what the word is.
It is psychosomatic, yes.
That she's going through. I feel it kind of sensationalizes and detracts from the real fact, the real horror that someone can be appalled at what's happening to the Jews in Germany, which clearly Sylvia Gelberg is. Her husband, Philip, in a throwaway line says, oh, they're so arrogant, the Jews over there, they probably deserve it. And Miller just strikes me as being profoundly uncomfortable with taking the angle of the story. He is a Jew, albeit I don't believe he was a particularly observant Jewish person, though of course he had his Jewish identity.
Well,
but
he did marry Marilyn Monroe, so he married Marilyn. That's observant.
He did indeed marry Marilyn Monroe. I sat through this. It was, as I say, the acting standards are mediocre. Jordan Fine, who directs it, Jordan Fine has directed. He started off in London fantastically with the production of Oklahoma at the Young Vic. God, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It was fantastic, terrific. He directs this. We find Sylvia Gelberg distraught on her bed, unable to use her legs, surrounded by newspapers, some of which are from 1938, some of which are from 2026, with headlines that criticize those parties that sit to the right side of our political spectrum today. It's absolute bollocks in that respect. I have to please excuse my French. The political,
but it's subtle, Jonathan. You've got to admit it's subtle.
Oh, not off. And I have to be honest, if you look at where anti-Semitism it's rearing its ugly head today in the United Kingdom and tragically in the United States and around the world, it's not coming. I'm not saying those parties on the right do not exist or extremes on the right, but if you look at those people that are committing acts of anti-Semitic terror and violence today, they are predominantly fueled from the Islamist sector of the community, with strong far left policies supporting them. So whatever message Jordan Fine was seeking to put over, frankly, it was nonsense when you look at the way the world is really turning. And he chose to put 2026 newspapers on Sylvia Gelberg's bed. The story gets even more muddled. Her Jewish doctor very unethically falls in love with her and becomes very sexually attracted to her. The story is an absolute flipping mess. The production values are appalling. I came away from it dismayed.
When did he write this?
Well, as I said, it's one of his later plays, and don't ask me for a biography because I couldn't tell you.
No. He died in early 2000s, I believe, unless I'm going mad.
Yeah, so I think maybe the 1990s,
possibly the 80s. Yeah,
it's set in 1930s, written in the 1990s, and staged in a mixture of the 2020s and the 1930s. It's a huge disappointment. It wasn't a brilliant play to begin with, and Jordan Fine and the Young Vic have made it worse. Let me also now turn, while I've got a few more minutes left,
take your time.
A play called The Holy Rosenbergs, which premiered in London back in 2011, written by a chap called Ryan Craig. As I say, it premiered in 2011 at the National, and it's set in Edgware, and it's about the Rosenberg family, who are a couple, David and Leslie. He has a catering business that is really in some decline. Kosher catering business is not what it was. They have 3 children. Ruth is a human rights lawyer who works for the United Nations. So you can see where that one goes in the character. A son who's struggling to find his way and is a bit of a loser, called Johnny. And they had a 3rd son, Danny, who had emigrated to Israel and who had recently been killed in action serving as a helicopter pilot in Gaza with the Israeli Defense Forces in Operation Cast Lead. This is all fictional. The play takes place on the eve of Danny's memorial service at the local synagogue in Edgware. And this is a play that is another absolute mess. Ryan Craig adapted it, and Lindsay Posner has directed it. Yep. Lindsay Posner, I have to say, I usually have a lot of time for, because he's directed some fabulous stuff that I've seen, and in recent years too. To be fair,
talented
the direction,
talented
indeed. Lindsay Posner, to be fair, the direction I can't really criticize Lindsay Posner. My criticism is with Lindsay Posner, Ryan Craig, and the Midday for actually remounting this piece, because as the narrative evolves, we learn that there's pressure from the community, from the Edgware Jewish community, for the daughter of the family, Ruth, not to speak at the funeral, not even to attend the funeral, because of her liberal left-wing employment with the United Nations. Against that, you have the argument that Ruth puts out about all these terrible things that Israel is doing in Gaza. Well, that was in 2011 when the United Nations were perceived as being biased enough. We are now in 2026, and frankly, history has revealed that the United Nations are neck deep with Hamas in Gaza. We've seen however many Hamas employees or UN employees were cross-employed, cross-utilized by both organizations. We've seen clearly how Hamas has used so much of the development of Gaza. The money has not been put into building schools. Well, building schools with a certain syllabus has not gone into schools. It's gone into ripping up pipes and agricultural systems and turning them into rocket launchers. And there's not a whiff of that in the play. And in fact, as we take our seats in the Midday, there is a mise en scène, a sound backdrop. As you wander in, you still get your gin and tonic in your hand from the foyer. You've got your program. You take your seats. And there's radio news broadcasts of Gordon Brown and Barack Obama criticizing Israel's actions.
Oh, was that before or after he gave them 14 billion in cash?
Yeah, well, that's the Iranians. I think you're talking about.
I know who it is. In cash, on pallets.
Quite. So you know what way the production wants you to think. I guess I have to say the profoundly disappointing thing about this play is that it is being staged at all.
Staged now.
It should have been allowed to rest in peace.
In pieces.
The redeeming feature of the production is Tracy Ann Oberman's take.
We love her.
We do. Take on the mother of the family, Leslie Rosenberg, David's wife, who she's trying to hold her family together. She is distraught at the loss of her son, Danny. And as ever, Tracy Ann Oberman portrays this quite complex woman with aspects of her character that we all can recognize beautifully. And there is a real poignancy in her grief, in her passion, in how she's trying to get her husband to see sense, but she's also desperate for her husband's business to succeed. She's magnificent. And I have to say, even though it's an unsympathetic part, Dorothea Meyer Bennett, who plays the daughter Ruth, also turns in a very, very good performance as the daughter, albeit, as I say, it's an unsympathetic role. And I don't think it's a play, let alone a role, that should have seen the light of day ever again, not least of all from people who write and direct as a Jew, which Lindsay Posner, Ryan Craig do. It's their choice. It's the Midday's choice to produce it. I think those choices are ill-founded. The writing is jumbled. Craig aspires to be an Arthur Miller light. He offers us clumsily constructed nods to Miller's Willie Loman from Death of a Salesman, Joe Keller from All My Sons, in the character of David, the struggling dad, the caterer. but Craig's writing doesn't come close to matching Miller's genius. So here we are in the course of one morning. I've praised and criticized Arthur Miller, but really when Miller was good, he was, no one surpassed him. He was one of the true greats of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And Ryan Craig is not. So I would venture to suggest that the Holy Rosenbergs is probably one to miss, unless you are a devout Tracy Ann Oberman fan, in which case, to be fair, her performance will not disappoint. It is terrific. But the play, sadly,
she's always so good.
And that, as they say, that's it for me. That's all, folks.
That's enough. Did you go before you go? Because I know that Chantel is just coming out of the Winnebago from Hair and Makeup and looking sensational, of course. Tell me this: did you go to see? Oh, come on, Russie!
Meet me halfway.
While we were waiting.
I did, and thank you for bringing that up. While we were waiting upstairs at the Gatehouse, and excuse me because I should have actually referenced it. While we were waiting, written by Gary Wilmot, and it's a two-hander featuring Gary himself and Steve First. A glorious little piece of theatre, lasts about 90 minutes, touch over that, about exploring this concept of waiting. These two chaps sitting on a bench next to a door that's quite enigmatic. We don't know what this door is all about. And the answer is yes, I did see it, and yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you for bringing that onto my agenda this morning, because you saw it too.
I have to mention it because they're two dear friends, and Gary is just one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and one of the most talented. And Steve First is amazing. I went to see his one-man show some years ago, and I thought I was gobsmacked. I was stunned at his versatility, his brilliance. If you don't know who Steve First is, if you like Heinz baked beans on TV, they're running an advert where a guy's left his beans at home and is sobbing on holiday. That's Steve. His body of work is amazing. The two of them together are just lovely. I went along to support them because they're chums, and I had a lovely conversation with them both afterwards, and they're just such nice people. Nice people.
I quite agree. And also, as a nod to Gary Wilmot, yesterday the UK Pantomime Awards nominees were announced. Oh, yeah. Gary made his debut as a pantomime director last year at Richmond, Christmas of 2025.
Oh, I didn't know that. And that's a big deal. Richmond Theatre, big deal.
Richmond Theatre, yeah. It was a
very big deal.
And yeah. I rated the Panto as 5 stars at the time. He's just been nominated as one of the top 5 pantomime directors for that show.
Well, and he has a wonderful comic timing.
Indeed.
You either have or you haven't. You can't.
And he understands the very essence of comedy, in drama. And I completely agree with you, because while they were waiting while we were waiting,
yeah,
is very cleverly put together. There's a little bit of Waiting for Godot, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, these famous, two-handed dialogue scenes that explore both the frivolous and also the deeply profound. And Wilmot has done very, very well in putting this show together.
I'm so thrilled for them. I really am.
We should probably say, how long is it on? So, and I'm about to tell you, it is on upstairs at the Gatehouse only until March the 22nd.
Yeah, that's in
one more week.
That's in Highgate. It's above a pub, and it's a very nice. I've never been.
Indeed.
Nice. Jonathan, thank you so much. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Bless you for everything that you do, and for steering us away from the wrong uns and directing us towards the right uns. Bless you. See you soon. Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the time of the week that you love so much, because here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Chantal Rickard's back from Texas.
Stop it.
I will not stop it. I will never stop it. So,
actually, I have got my red Texas boots on.
oh, you're
today.
kidding me? What?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah! So, how was Austin, Texas?
Well, it's a very interesting place. It's very small. It's about the size of Leeds.
Right.
And it's on a river called the Colorado. It's in the middle of nowhere, but everywhere's in the middle of nowhere in
Well,
Texas
of course
because
it is.
Texas is
It's
so flipping
huge
big.
because it's massive. So my son lives there. You see, that's why I was asking.
Well,
Because
have
my boy lives there.
have you been to Austin?
No, I've never been. Although I've lived in America, I never made it down to Texas, and it's one of my
Right.
things on my bucket list to do. Definitely.
No, well,
Yeah.
it's sort of interesting. I didn't really know the history of Texas. I mean, my historical knowledge is very poor. Did you know that Texas used to be a country in its own right?
Yes,
Well, blow me, I didn't know that.
I know American history better than I do British history.
Well, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
because
I
I don't
didn't
know,
study
it's just-
American history.
It's
But having lived in America, I should have picked that up, and I didn't.
yeah,
And-
yeah. It's all of that, and it's a very proud state. It's called the Lone Star State, as they
It is
call it.
called the Lone Star State.
They're very, very proudly Texan.
Yep.
You will have a certain way of life if you live in Texas, and if you don't want that sort of life, which my son apparently doesn't, you probably want to move somewhere else. And I said to him, good luck, because I would move to Texas in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I'd
Very
prefer-
few local taxes are non-existent.
Yeah, and it's huge. People don't understand. They think, oh, it must be like, Hertfordshire or Sussex. It's no, you will
Huge.
drive for 10 hours. You'd still be in Texas.
Yeah, I think they told me you could drive in one direction for 10 hours and in the
At
other
least.
direction for 4.
Yeah. But think about that. 10 hours
Yeah.
non-stop. You're still in the same state.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And
if you were in the
what-
UK, you'd be in southern Spain, but almost, you would do that.
Absolutely. The thing that I found most amusing was that clearly Spain originally owned Mexico.
Yes.
The Mexicans kicked the Spanish out.
Yep.
So the Mexicans then owned what was Mexico, New
Yep.
Mexico, Tejas, Tejas, and then up into Wyoming. I mean, they owned so much of what we now think of the United States of America. And then the locals got fed up with the Mexicans. They kicked the Mexicans out, declared Texas to be its own country,
Yeah.
and invited in the people that they called the Anglo-Americans to help populate Texas. And I just thought, how times have changed.
Just a bit. Just a bit. It's weird, isn't it? Well,
Literally.
Life. Of course, and the thing that everyone forgets, because I'm always fascinated by Native American history.
Yeah,
And when you go back, the Comanches
indeed.
owned
Yeah.
all of it.
Oh,
They were gigantic. You think of them, they got two TPs and they're fighting off John Wayne every 7 minutes. No,
yeah.
they owned hundreds of thousands of square miles of land against all the other tribes. They were
Indeed.
huge, And
I know. So
how did Native Americans get horses? Who had the idea of putting
well,
them
I
on
think the
horses?
horses were there at the same time. as the
No,
Native
not
Americans.
at all. No, horses were not indigenous to America.
No.
No, they weren't at all.
Oh, my
when the
goodness me.
Spanish came in and
Yes.
invaded, and remember, this invasion wasn't like not like Operation Fury or whatever the hell it's called today, whatever it is, Operation Jason Statham Fury.
Yeah.
It took hundreds of years because the Spanish started in South America for the gold
Yes.
and they
Moved
worked
up.
their way up South America till they got to sort of Mexico, and then they started going into what we now term North America. So this invasion took hundreds of years. It wasn't like over in a week sort of thing with a Spirit bomber and a B1 and a B2. And they brought horses because it was an armed
Really?
invasion. They brought horses. And the Native Americans thought, well, that's a bloody good idea. We'd never thought of that. So it was the Comanches who mastered brilliantly the art of horse warfare. And the other tribes are still like wandering around on Shanks's pony, walking around, going my way, going my way. No, and the Comanches
Amazing.
all had horses, and that's why they took over the most enormous tranches of North American land. What were you
Astonishing.
doing, by the way, apart from
Well,
going? this is a very small place.
I was
like
I
one-
was doing some work checking out a couple of businesses that I sit on the board of directors of a student housing company.
Oh yes, you
and-
do. That's right.
Yes, I do. And I
that's
was
right.
checking out a couple of businesses that they've bought in the last year, which was great. It was just a whole load of new colleagues, people I'd never met before,
Yeah.
and a culture that felt very different to California. I mean, clearly,
Oh, it's
very
completely different from California. The thing about America, you've lived there, I've lived there. Julie Voice has lived in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other people have as well. Here's the thing. Everyone thinks, oh, it's America. No, it's as much. They're different countries. They just happen to be states under an umbrella called the USA. They're completely different places. The atmosphere is utterly different. The population, they speak one language. But if they didn't, you would say, well, they're like Poland and Italy. They're completely different people. By the way, Dave Sleep, Mr. Clever, there's no A in borders unless they're paying rent.
Exactly.
Tub, trust, understanding, belief. There we go. I want to say congratulations to Dave Sleep. May I just very quickly say congratulations?
Yes, you should.
He did his very first stand-up this week
on
Sunday, and he sent me the film of it. And for a guy who has never ever done stand-up, it was bloody good. Well done, Dave. Because it takes cojones the size of medicine.
Yeah, it does. Cojones. It definitely does take large cojones to do that.
It does. Right. Okay. What have you seen? I'm going to recommend one very quick thing. You'll hate it. You will hate it. I adored
sci-fi.
it.
Is it sci-fi? Oh no.
I know you hate it. I know you'll hate it. You'll hate everything about it, and I adore it. It's the best thing I've seen in ages, because it was like somebody said, we're sick to death of all this woke shit films we have to make. Let's make a movie just like it's the 1980s, and they did. It's called War Machine. It stars one of my favorite actors. If you like Reacher, he's Alan Ritson. Who's the size of Brent Cross on legs. He's absolutely huge. He's a charming guy in real life. Nothing like the characters he plays, completely the opposite. And it's just great. If you enjoyed as a kid watching Predator with Arnie and everybody else, Jesse Ventura,
right,
you will love this. It's like kind of Predator for 2026. He does all his own stunts. The stunts are like, oh my God. And it's just like a great old film from the 80s. I love it.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. It's a huge smash. It's their #1 film, and deservedly so. If you don't like those sort of films, you'll loathe it. You will hate it.
Okay.
I love
I'll
it.
hate it. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Phil Dave would hate it. Phil Dave would loathe it. Right, which means it's a good film.
I think Arnie announced this week, didn't he, that he's bringing back Conan the Barbarian? I think.
Is he?
I think I read that.
Is it the story? Is it the story of roadworks on the M25? That's Conan the Barbarian.
It could have just been one of my bad nightmares of my journey back from Austin, and where I was awake or asleep and went to 5 different airports on the way home, including
Did you?
Edinburgh.
Why? Can you not? Were you in the wrong plane or something? Knowing
no,
you?
I got on a plane that was going to touch down at New York and then take off again. Oh no, I think I had to swap planes at JFK. JFK, there was like one cloud of fog, so they diverted us to Newark. Then we had to deplane, which is a word I hate.
Then we had to. You mean just get off the plane?
Yes, deplane. Deplane at Newark. Get back on the plane.
Not deplane, because you don't detrain. You don't.
No, you don't. Well, you might.
Well,
no, in America they definitely deplane.
No, if they can find a stupid phrase in America, they will find it.
I know, it's a ridiculous. It just is a word I hate. So we then replaned. We then flew around.
Just bollocks, isn't it?
We then flew around Massachusetts, I think, for quite a while.
Did you feel you were going back?
we eventually got to JFK, by which time my flight to London had gone.
Oh, Christ.
And then they said, we can't get you on any of the overnight flights because they're all full. Even though they knew that I was going to be late, they could easily have booked me onto one, but they didn't. So then they said, you're going to have to, we'll send you back tomorrow. And I said, I'm not staying another night in the United States. So they said, well, we can send you to Edinburgh. And I went, absolutely fine. Just get me on a plane to Edinburgh. So then went to Edinburgh.
Why did you not want to say? Serious question. Have you fallen out of love with America? Is that it?
No. It wasn't that so much. It's just by that stage, I just didn't want to be traveling any longer. I didn't want to stay in an airport hotel, unpack, repack, get up at 4 in the morning. I just thought,
hate I can't do it. It makes me nuts.
I know. And I didn't want to sit in JFK for 12 hours. So I just said,
you and Tom Hanks making sequel to whatever it was. Films.
So I got home, I think 30 hours after I left
Jesus
hotel bedroom in Austin, which is a little bit long even for me.
Did you like Austin though?
I did.
I don't think I'm ever going to go, frankly.
It's a modern, it feels very modern. It's lots of big new high-rise buildings, but again, it's small. The river's big. The Colorado River is big. They have this sort of crazy thing where they go down and watch the bats flying out from under the river, under the bridge at dusk. All the bats fly out, and people were down there with sort of lenses that long, waiting for bats to fly up into the sky. And I sort of stood there for half an hour, wondering what was going on, thinking, well, this is all a bit of a mystery to me. And then I turned around and everybody disappeared. So whatever the big fuss was, I don't think I ever really
didn't see it. Didn't even see Bruce Wayne.
But the food is fabulous. I mean, I went out for Tex-Mex and I went out for barbecue.
Barbecue.
Jeez.
My son tells me, when he goes on a road trip with the kids and everything, you can just stop anywhere, and the barbecue. He said you've never tasted anything like it. It's just sensationally good.
Yeah, they did put sort of half a pig and half a cow on my tray. They don't give you a plate. I mean, plates of the baby for wimps. You literally get a tray, a big plastic red plastic tray, and it's just astonishing.
It is, and then you as a Brit go, I wonder why they've got an obesity problem here.
Indeed.
Mystery. You need a forklift truck to take your food over to the table. I mean, it's just groaning.
Now, I'm going to take you off. I'm going to take you back to America now.
Oh, good.
Because you and I both know of the writer Patricia Cornwell, because we've
we
had a conversation about her.
We certainly do.
Yeah. She's a bit of an interesting woman. She has sold 120 million crime novels.
She's done okay.
And finally, the books about the forensic pathologist Kay Scarpetta has actually made it to the small screen.
How many years later?
Well,
unbelievable.
I don't know how many. She must have started writing those books 30 years ago or something.
At least. And if ever there was a series of books screaming to be televised, it's the case of Scarpetta, which I'm a huge fan of.
Well, there you go. So that's why I thought I would mention it. And Nicole Kidman is playing the part of Kay Scarpetta.
Here you go. See?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it signed? No. Do you know we're Twitter friends, she and I?
No. Now that I did not know.
Yeah. And we've actually had, I couldn't believe it, Patricia Cornwell. I mean, the goddess. And we've had little chit chats. I couldn't believe she replied. I was absolutely stunned. Anyway,
oh, lovely.
I will shut up.
Her life.
So anyway, Nicole Kidman, who I never saw as Kay Scarpetta, but there you go.
Yes. But if you want a really extraordinary story, then look up Patricia Cornwell's her own life, because
her own life's amazing.
Extraordinary. It's better than any thriller. Better than any thriller you've ever read.
She's an amazing woman.
Oh, extraordinary. Anyway, so Nicole plays Kay Scarpetta, who is the local forensic pathologist in Virginia, which is where Patricia Cornwell lives. And so she's the sort of updated Quincy de nos jours.
Quincy, M.E.
I loved it. Absolutely one of my
Jack
favorite
Klugman.
programs on
Great.
television. Jack Klugman, exactly.
Oh, love that show.
He was fantastic.
He was great.
And yeah, she's clearly got a lot of stories to source the programs from. It's had mixed reviews. So I'm going to leave you to watch it and tell me what you think. It's on Prime. Have you got Prime at the moment?
Yeah, I got Prime. Sure. The amount of shit I buy on Amazon, of course I got Prime.
Yeah. Okay, Nicole
Jeff
is great.
Bezos. I'm like, Jeff Bezos delivers to me personally. There's so much crap I buy. I don't need any of it. I just like buying it. Well, next to it, if you look on Prime, Amazon Prime,
yes,
on the new stuff, got Kay Scarpetta with Nicole Kidman, whom
Yep.
I once had the pleasure of meeting, was utterly charming. Could not have been
she's
nicer.
delightful.
What a charm! I haven't met them like you've met them, but she didn't
No,
have to be
she's
nice to
lovely.
me as she was.
Yep.
And next to it is Guy Ritchie's new show, Young Sherlock.
Now, I saw that, but I haven't watched it.
Well, it's kind of posted next to it on your screen when you go onto Prime
Yeah.
Video. And I'm a Arthur Conan Doyle nut. I'm obsessed with Sherlock Holmes. And I thought, Guy Ritchie, but I like what he did with what's the name? And you know what? It was damn good. I watched episode 1 last night.
Brilliant. I thought you were going to say
it rocked. Just for me, because I'm an old fart, it was a bit too much jumpy. The editing was a bit boom, you know.
Yeah.
But the characters, the actors, it was great. It was great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was very clever and kind of, it plays with the canon of the work, but it didn't trash it because that drives me mad.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I will try one of those and see what they're
try
like.
the first one.
Okay.
Because when he encounters, it's not a spoiler alert, but very early on he meets Moriarty.
Yes.
And it's very clever how they're introduced as young men. They're like 21, 22. And it's cool. It's very cool.
Oh, I like that. Okay,
and
well,
of course, it's Guy Ritchie, so he just directs with such authority and aplomb.
He's a very, very good director.
He knows what he's doing. He really
and very good at action.
Oh, yeah, just a bit. Wow.
Anyway, just briefly, along with Nicole Kidman, you will find Jamie Lee Curtis as her cranky sister, cranky older sister.
Who's a very, very close friend of Patricia Cornwell.
Oh, wow.
They're very good friends in real life.
They're
very close friends.
I didn't know that.
They're very good mates.
Okay, right. Well, she plays the cranky older sister, and Bobby Cannavale is the other. I think it's Cannavale. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
The older lead character who's the FBI profiler. But I'm going to stick with it because I know they've already confirmed season 2, which means that they think that season 1 is going to do well.
Yeah.
Episode 1 is a bit slow, but they're trying to do too much in episode 1 because they're setting up the backstory. So you've got young Kay Scarpetta and then you've got older Kay Scarpetta. So it's all slightly bit all, but bear with it.
Probably when you love a series of books and you've been reading them for maybe 30 years.
Yeah.
The problem is, as human beings, those characters you've imagined and they are locked into your DNA. You've perceived how they are. Right?
Indeed.
Then you have the situation when it's presented as a visual art form. You go, no. That's not who, Fred Smith is in that series.
Yeah.
Well, that's your imagination. That's the wonder of books. You see how they are. So when it's not portrayed in the way that you've imagined for 30 years, you get a bit hacked off. That's one of the issues.
Fair game. Well, in a similar vein about cutting from old times up to modern day, do you remember the 1980s, or were you just sort of a bit too out of it in the 1980s?
Do I remember? Of course I remember. It was fabulous. Absolutely bloody loved it. Kidding?
I know. I had a good time in the 1980s.
I had a great time.
Well,
I've always set out to have a good time. I wouldn't say it's brilliant at the moment, but it's been, it is.
Well, one of the jobs I had in the 1980s was working for the man that I most enjoyed working for in my entire career, who was a guy called Theo Cowan, who was a film publicist. And I worked with
Very
him.
famous.
He was a tremendous human being. And one of the TV series that we were asked to help promote was something called, in the very early days of Channel 4, something called A Woman of Substance.
Barbara Taylor Bradford.
Indeed, Barbara Taylor Bradford was the writer. And we looked after Barbara Taylor Bradford's personal publicity, as well as Jenny Seagrove's personal publicity.
Well, hey!
Who played the lead role as this woman, Emma Hart. So Barbara's own background was that she used to be a journalist at the Yorkshire Post, and the story is about a rags to riches story of a maid who works in a big posh hall, who eventually is going to become a retail magnate, richest woman in America. So, but you get told that right at the very beginning. So the whole thing is not done sequentially. It's all being intercut forwards and backwards, more forwards and backwards, but bear with it. Very interestingly, Brenda Blethyn plays the part of Emma Hart, the magnate from it's about 1980 when she's there, and it's the beginning of the early-ish part of the 1900s when you've got the young Emma. So those are the two time zones that you're working in. So if you think Rivals, I'm not sure whether you watched Rivals.
No.
But Rivals was that sort of, a replay of a bonkbuster from the 1980s. Jilly Cooper.
Jilly Johnson.
Yeah.
Jilly Cooper.
Jilly Cooper. Jolly Super. And this is very similar. So it's played more for laughs than it was at the time. Yeah. They've amped up the sort of women empowerment thing, but not too much. Okay. But it always was about a woman who becomes incredibly successful in the retail industry. So, but they've over-egged it a bit. But rather like Rivals, they've over-egged everything. But you sort of have to go with it because that's the way it's been done, which is rather tongue-in-cheek. But lots of bonking.
Well, this is the Bridgerton effect, isn't it? It's the Bridgerton effect.
It's the Bridgerton effect. It's sort of on steroids, basically.
Yeah.
But if you like that stuff, it's a bit of a laugh. So episode 1 is pretty good so far. I think it has been well received. It's on Channel 4 again. Way on from what I think when I first worked on it, it must have been either 1985 or 1986, which is a jolly long time ago.
No, it's yesterday. Here's a question from Julie Voice, who used to live in Texas.
Austin. In Texas.
Chantal, have you seen the series about JFK Jr.? I think it's called Love Affair. It looks to me like a Hallmark film, Julie. So it's not much to see.
I think it's too raunchy for Hallmark.
No, they're pushing it very hard on the adverts, that's for sure.
Are they? Do you know, I haven't seen it and I haven't heard about it, which means because I have been away for a bit of a while. So actually, I'm a bit behind on
Was he the fellow who went down in the plane crash? Have I got the right one?
Well, he was called... Was he Bobby Kennedy Jr., the one who died in the plane crash?
It wasn't that long ago because he had this wife and they went out and they were flying around the Hamptons. I wonder if it's them.
Yeah, he was. I think that was Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Could be. Can't remember. Don't know.
But quite what sort of relative he is to the guy who runs the Health and Human Services Department in America, I'm not entirely sure.
They are all related. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so Woman of Substance back on Channel 4. Suspend belief and just enjoy it. And if that's your thing, it's done jolly well. It clearly had a lot of money thrown at it. I could regale you with stories about the old Barbara Taylor Bradford and the last version I worked on, but just watch this version and see what you think.
It's not great to see Brenda Blethyn.
Well, she's
outside
hilarious.
of Vera. Outside of, I didn't realize it was her. And then I saw, with Brenda Blethyn, I thought, wait, where's, I'm expecting to see Vera in a silly hat and raincoat, and it was her looking very glamorous. So
indeed,
that's just me being a mug, thinking that everyone's not acting; it's real.
No. Well, if you want something completely different, I
Mm.
can't remember if you're a Louis Theroux fan or not.
Ugh!
Oh God, I've said the wrong thing.
No, I find his faux naivism annoying. It's a one-trick pony, and I know people absolutely adore him. I get it. I just don't believe him.
Yeah. No, well, I mean that is the conceit of the program, is that he's supposed to be this naive, and clearly he's not naive.
Of course not.
You know, he's a clever bloke, and most people are no longer taken in by it because he's got, anybody who wants to check him out can see every review of every documentary he's done, which says he basically takes the piss out of everybody in the program. So you would have to be an absolute fool to be on one of his programs and be a contributor to it, and to not understand that basically he's there to take the mick. So this is his first documentary that he's done with Netflix, because he has been on the BBC for 1,000 years, but he's now got a deal with Netflix. So this is the first doc that he's done for them, but it's extending stuff that he has done in the past, and this is called Inside the Manosphere, which is a very scary place that I never want to go to. And the if you think of the
Andrew Tate,
the Tate brothers, exactly.
Ugh.
If you think of it, that's the Manosphere.
I try never to think of Andrew Tate if I can, unless I want to keep my diet going, and I can think of him and feel so sick I don't want to eat. He is utterly, unredeemably repulsive.
No, indeed.
As is his philosophy.
Yeah, the whole thing is horrible, beyond horrible. It's still sort of grisly, fascinating, and you just sort of can't quite believe that people like that really exist. But he interviews 4 macho blokes, none of whom I had ever heard of. Some of whom are British.
Bobby Crush? Is it Bobby Crush?
Not Bobby.
Larry Grayson.
Bring back Bobby Crush.
Liberace. Who are they?
Different type of manosphere.
John Inman.
Yeah. I'd feel much safer in that manosphere, I can tell you.
But they're all very nice. Bobby Crush is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. It's fabulous.
Exactly.
Lovely man. It's a lovely man.
Anyway, it's if you're interested in sort of popular culture and the extremes of lifestyles these days, the manosphere is something to be reckoned with, and just also something deeply worrying. And I think we should worry about the masculinity of young men that we're bringing into the world these days, because it's not all about testosterone, I can tell you.
I'm just going to conclude it with this and see what you think. To me, it's like some of the religious cults and political parties. It takes the lonely, the dispossessed, the people who don't know what the hell they're doing with their lives. They're unpopular loners, and it's like, come with us. You're welcome in our club. And they'll go, yay, I've got a club just for people like me. And that's, I think, the basis of how it works. And I find it deeply disturbing.
It is indeed. Anyway.
There we are. Welcome back from the US of A.
Thank you. I'll be back there again in 10 days, but I'm here for
what?
the next 10 days.
Are you a spy?
I'm a spy.
I think you could be a spy.
I'm heading into LA after that.
You hate it. I'll come with you. Cheer myself up.
Come with me.
I've been invited to a wedding in Los Angeles. And I'm like, well, it's not exactly round the corner. It's not like they're saying, come to Old Compton Street for a wedding. I don't think I'm going to go, but
it's a long way.
Oh God, it's 11.5 hours, and I'd have to go storage. I wouldn't even go tourist. I'd have to go storage in the luggage hold. Bless you for coming along. As always, welcome back. Lovely.
Bless you. Happy weekend.
I will see you. I'll try. Unlikely, but you never know. I'll see you in a week's time. So the fabulous Chantal Rickards. Oh, we love her. She's, the most charming of people, and even more charming in real life. Thank you so much. That's been a whole week of broadcasts from the Midday Show. Thank you to all the contributors, especially to Neil Longy Long for Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm long on a Monday normally. And thank you most of all for wherever you are in the world, in sunny Spain or in the States or northeastern United States and France and everywhere else, all over the world watching this show. Bless you. You're so welcome. It's a little community we've built here, and you are so welcome. We never take your presence for granted. We'll be back on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. I know it's Friday the 13th, so go back under the duvet and wait till it's all over. Until then, remember, as I always say, no hurty words. Bye-bye, everybody.